Okay, everybody. So this one is basically about the founder of the town, and somehow Mater turns himself into a time machine, and which, when you have a car that is a time machine, how the hell do you avoid the joke about not going at 88 miles per hour? I'm sorry, that is inexcusable not to make that reference in this short. So he is actually like a clock to him or something like that. And he goes flying back in time, and Maida messes up the whole time frame of the town being founded, and he ends up being back to the future, and the whole thing is still a desert. So he basically ends up kind of like doing like what Homer Simpson did in Treehouse of Horror, and just go back and forth to correct everything. Pretty much. And so it's not original. It's I'm really annoyed that there's so many time gags that they could have thrown in there, and they just decided not to do any of them. And so it's just another car shot that I have no emotional interest in whatsoever.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't as incredibly dumb compared to the last one we talked about, in which Mater can fly. I mean, sure, it's really unorthodox and kind of weird that Mater is now a time machine.
He's a time machine. He's an airplane. Hey kids, he can do anything. Buy the toys. Yeah,
yeah, making it sound like Mater has a lot of accessories. It's like, put a clock in, he's a time machine. Put some wings in, he's an airplane. Put some other stuff on him, now he's a spy. It's like, wow, we are like the best toy commercial right now.
Yeah. They all say that Queen Elsa is not plausible. Here's Mater, who basically can be turned into anything at this point. He's like, hey, he's a freaking transformer. Hey, back in the 80s. Yeah, but I would take Transformers over this any day, pretty much.
I would take GoBots over this any day.
I'd take but I'd take Beast Wars over this any day. Again, it just feels emotionally draining every time we have to come back to Cars. Because it's just not a property that we're just invested in at all. You look at other shorts that we've seen in this series, and there's so much imagination, there's so much promise, and so much hope that's brought into these, and then here comes Cars, and it just feels like you feel more like you've been in a hit and run with Cars more than you are actually driving with Cars. If I had to be honest with everybody about it,
here's our reaction to when we just finished watching the Toy Story short. It's like, oh, that was a good one, and then Cars Toons showed up, and then we're like, just damn it.
Yeah. So. And again, we apologize to everyone who actually enjoys the Cars series, but we just don't want to see any more of this, really, because, after Cars 3, it just feel like it was exhausting itself at this point. And, and after the bad taste in the mouth that Cars 2 left us in, it just feels like a series that just doesn't need to be kept alive, I'm pretty glad that Pixar right now is on the path of, doing more original movies. We've got Soul coming up in a couple of days' time. But in regards to Cars, they should just put it on the scrap heap, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm surprised that there is not so many continuity time errors in this, like the juxtaposition of, oh, we're gonna go back in time and then we're gonna straighten this up. Oh, it's back to normal, and then they just try to make it out like, okay, one minor change and everything would be messed up. It's like, yeah, I mean, that is true. That is time travel logic. But they make it out as like, oh, and now it's better than it was before, and now just slight things were messed up a little bit, but it's not like turned into a complete time paradox. It's like, yeah,
it's basically Cinderella 3, except everything's wrong, and it's shorter,
much shorter.
Yeah, so sorry guys, it's a dud for us. So yeah, okay, next one.
See ya.